Hey. Hey, pleasure to be here. Thanks for the honor and the opportunity to present. Bit of a change of pace before we go into the break. I'm not here to ask for money, rather to share a bit about how DSM approaches open innovation, including venturing in the solar space, which is my business. Briefly, to start, a little bit about DSM. If you're Dutch, you probably have heard of DSM. If you're not, there's a good chance you haven't. The company is about 115 years old, based in Limburg in the south of the Netherlands. Started as a coal mining company. We've transformed ourselves over the years several times. It was as one must do to survive for so long. Large company, about 8 billion in turnover last year, over 20,000 employees around the world, and we care a lot about sustainability from our CEO on down. Yeah, so we're focused on health, nutrition, and materials. Everything that we do is guided by megatrends. You'll see here on the right-hand side of the slide, the focus on energy, which of course is where our solar energy business ties into this chart. Also on the materials side. Briefly on the PV industry, it's growing incredibly fast, much faster than even the industry experts have thought it would. This is a chart that shows the lines in color show even as recently as a couple of years ago where the World Energy Outlook thought that this industry would go. 50 gigawatts by 2030. Well, guess what? In 2016, there were 70 gigawatts, 75 gigawatts, some say, of solar installed worldwide. So there's tremendous momentum, explosive growth in this industry. It's not going away. That's one of the reasons why DSM has invested in our solar business. What do? We're all about science-based solutions to decrease the levelized cost of electricity. What's that? The LCOE is it can be thought of as the total cost that you need to invest in order to create a new energy source over the lifetime of that asset per unit of energy, typically expressed in dollars per kilowatt hour. So if you have a new innovation that can reduce the LCOE, that can reduce the cost per kilowatt hour, but we're interested to hear about it. We've approached that typically through materials innovation. We have a coating that goes on the top of the solar panel to reduce the reflectance and get more energy output. Our coating increases the efficiency of solar panels by over 3%. This coating is on literally hundreds of millions of solar panels all around the world. We have other materials as well, such as backsheets on the bottom side of the panel, and a number of other innovations in our pipeline that we're working with partners to bring to market. We have a global presence, primarily in the Netherlands and also in China, where the market is. Over 70% of solar panels are manufactured in China. We also have applications development capabilities near Shanghai. We also have a presence in Japan, India, and the United States. We use open innovation wholeheartedly. We really embrace it, both at the front end to understand the trends, understand what's happening in this market, really keep a pulse on what's changing. It's a very highly dynamic space. It seems like the industry landscape is changing every month. And so we really need to get outside of the office, engage people in the field, not just to understand what the opportunities are, but also to partner with folks to do joint business developments, license our technology out, license technologies in. We do quite a bit of venturing. We tend to target early stage companies, A rounds up to 5 million. Come talk to me if you think you might have something to offer either as a startup or also as an investor. We're always, of course, looking for co-investors in such opportunities. We also do M&A. This is an example of a Chinese company that we acquired earlier this year to establish a position over there. All right, so I wanted to share 5 lessons of open innovation. I'll try to go quickly in the remaining time that I have. Lesson 1, connect to strategy. It sounds obvious, but when I think about strategy and open innovation, there's really two areas that open innovation can be used for. One is to support today's core business. Another is to create future growth options. I personally believe that there's a lot more power in an open innovation approach towards that latter approach, creating options in spaces that might be adjacent to today's core business, to create options for the future. Small investments you can make today to really give you an option to invest further to expand. It's really important in a highly dynamic industry such as solar PV to focus on more than just today's core business. If that's all you're doing, forget about it. You're going to be irrelevant in a matter of months. Next one, know your capabilities. Strategy, of course, is also about capabilities. And for any new open innovation activity that we might undertake, it's really important for us to understand not just our strategy, where are the specific areas where we're interested to invest, interested to experiment, learn, explore, establish a future position, but also to know what do we lack. This shows a drone which are being used, as some of you may know, drones are being used to measure and monitor performance of solar installations. If we have an idea that, we want to use drones to capture performance about solar panels so that we can get learnings about how our materials work in the field. We want to apply machine learning algorithms. You can get really excited about the potential. We also need to be realistic around, all right, what do we bring to the table? If I have a business case to bring forward along those lines, I'm not going to propose that the DSM itself start building drones. Right? Opportunities like this are ripe for partnership, but you need to know what you're looking for. Next one, aligning upfront on expectations. It might go without saying, but I think it's really important, especially when you have more strategic types of alliances, anything that's not transactional. Have very open discussions with your partners from the beginning. What is our shared vision of success? What does it look like for you? What does it look like for me? What am I concerned about? What are you concerned about from this relationship? Get these issues out on the table as soon as possible. How do we each think that we can create value with this collaboration? What's our thoughts on how we might share that value once we've created it? So these sorts of issues are really important to align on upfront to avoid costly missteps in the future. Related to this, trust is paramount. Again, it's more on the kind of soft skills, but you need to be able to look your partner in the eye. You need to build up trust over time. So for any of you startups that are really considering doing some sort of strategic deal with a corporate, really you need to have a basis of trust that you can build on. And that's only gained through a number of interactions and getting to know one another over meals and drinks, and kind of really getting to a point where you can pick up the phone and talk to one another whenever you might like, and that you have that level of comfort and trust to build upon. And last but not least, beware innovation theater. This is my last lesson I wanted to share. Being in Limburg, of course, we love our carnival. That's not what this is about. The term innovation theater was actually coined by a guy named Steve Blank. He was talking about kind of potential pitfalls of so-called innovation outposts that a lot of companies have set up. It's been very fashionable to set up such outposts in say, Silicon Valley or New York, et cetera. We actually have one which I think is quite successful operating in Boston. At any rate, this term, innovation theater, I think can be more broadly applied. Not just to the idea of innovation outposts, but also to the idea of anything that you might do in the open innovation space. Make sure you can really answer the question, why am I doing this? It can be really sexy to generate headlines or partner with big brands or attend conferences in fantastic cities like Amsterdam or Berlin. But just make sure you really understand why you're doing that and how it can create value for your business, and that any activity you might partake in is really aligned with your strategy so that you can avoid this concept of just innovation theater that's really just for show and not necessarily going to add value. So that's all I have. The innovation race is on. There's a lot of innovation happening in this space. It's been truly inspirational to be here today. This is a great setting from which to spark the connections that are really needed to transform our shared energy future. No one firm can do it alone, and I look forward to meeting you and talking with you and keeping the conversation going. Thank you.
Well done, Nathan. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for sharing your wisdom. And I hope that Ecosummit is not too much of an innovation theater.